Hello everyone, welcome back. We're gonna go ahead and next wanna try to make a mouth for your character. So, normally your character's mouth is probably closed, so is mine, but we still gotta try to make it so you can, when it comes to posing, we can have the mouth open and show all its teeth and all the cool stuff. So when we are building this character, obviously it looks like we didn't leave an area for us to make a mouth. There's a couple of ways we can probably do this. When you're building out your character, again with your faces selected, let's say here for instance you can go to extrude with the edit mesh, extrude, or Control E to do it quicker. And you can just simply, make a mouth of some sort, right? If you don't want to follow the way I was building out this character here. So, there's one way of making a mouth, then continue to detail it more by extruding some faces from here, like as an example. You start making, the mouth here, right? Very simple way of doing this. Extruding some faces again, and we're just moving things back, creating that mouth cavity. And quickly you can see how fast we are able to build this mouth, right? Yeah, it doesn't match the reference, which is fine. We can still go back. Let's say for your side view, for example, either with your X-ray, or I like to mostly use the wireframe. You can have that selected, see right through the section here. You can go to right click over your model and go to, let's say, vertex for this one. Select our vertices, and we can just simply start moving that stuff, right? Looks like the mouth is right here, like at least the edge of my mouth here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into X-ray mode here, and just simply move some of these vertices, trying to match some of this shape as much as possible, right? Again, the 4 key brings out your model, or all the models to wireframe, and the 5 key brings it all back. So if you don't see me selecting these boxes and it's changing from wire to shade mode, it's because I'm pressing those faces. So again, we're going to go ahead and continue to try to match our reference in this example. The top of his mouth seems like it's, ends up here, right? So we're gonna go ahead and just try to move this higher. See how that looks here. So you can start to see the shape of it starting to match a little bit of our reference here. So now we want to try to get the bottom of the mouth here to start matching a little bit of the reference here. So just using the move key here. Now it looks like I might need some more topology here. What we call the topology, like the polygons. So I want more polygons, that way I can start getting the shape a little bit more for my character, or depending on what your character is. So for here, well, having the model selected, we're going to go ahead and go to mesh tools and find the insert edge loop. This will help us add more of this geometry in here. Whoops, let's not do that. So the best way to do it for this example, yikes. Yeah, things look crazy when you're in the not smooth preview. But we're in smooth preview mode right here. So we're gonna go ahead and find this edge here of the mouth, because it's gonna allow us to actually put that there, our extra loop. So you can see this here, these like dotted lines. This is if you selected this edge here in this example, it's showing you where you can place this loop. And we're going to try to place it more in the middle here, and it should add it like this right there. And now we'll go ahead and click on the selection tool, or pressing the Q key to exit out of that tool. Then you can go ahead and hover over your creature and go right click object mode to get it out. So now we added more of this geometry here, which will be easier for us to continue to edit our shape. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out a vertex mode here, and we're going to go in again and try to adjust this character's mouth a bit more, try to get it more shaped again. So it doesn't look like exactly getting that shape I want. I'm probably gonna have to add more geometry again at some point. I'm not too worried right now, because we can still add that later on in the process. So when looking at the view of the character, just trying to adjust it a little bit as much as I can, since we don't have too much topology here, like the polygons, to make a more accurate edits at the moment. So we're just trying our best to get roughly the shape of the character. So switching to my front view, we're just checking how it looks with the rest of the reference. I know it's got a more sharper jaw here, but for now we're just going to try our best to get it like that. So definitely a little bit more sharper. We're probably gonna have to make some more edits to the mouth when you actually add more geometry to this later on. So this is a quick, easy way to start creating a mouth for your character. You can actually start, if you move very carefully around, you can start to see like the inside of this mouth. And we can definitely make more edits to this later on in the process. So yeah, I'm just, moving it down a little bit more inside of this mouth here. That way later on we can add some teeth and a tongue as well, like the rest of the mouth. So switching back to my other angle, you can see here, this bomb jaw really has a bit of that overbite here compared to the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to fix that a little bit more. I'm gonna go to my edge, select my edge there, and just try my best to get that done. Again, I'm not too worried about the shape here because later on we're gonna add some more geometry, and we'll get back to actually making more sharper angles of this model later on. Okay, so not exactly liking how this is forming right here at the moment. You can definitely do a little bit better to help with this shape here. So again, what we can, a solution we can probably do is add more geometry here. Again, with adding the edge loop, where we go to mesh tools, insert edge loop, and try to add it here on this side here. So like we did last time, we insert the edge loop, press selection tool to exit out of the tool, or press the Q key. Then we want to go hover over a character, right click on an object mode to get our normal view of this. And it looks like we still have this issue here, which is okay because we can. So we're gonna go ahead and relax this mouth a little bit by just dragging it down. The vertex here, and I have selected, just dragging it down, make it a little bit more natural, a little bit better. And we're gonna go ahead and shift back to our other angle, the side view here, and go ahead and try to see if we can. Since we got more geometry added, it'll be easier for us to come back and actually edit this part of the jaw some more, get that more sharper angle. It's not going to be 100% exact, but a lot better. And this is why in certain forms of this of a character, having just a little bit more geometry in certain sections will help build the shape a lot more. So we got that more of that sharper jaw here. And don't worry about these other, like this teeth shape of this jaw. We're not worried about that at the moment. We're just trying to focus on just building the base of it. So like I'm just looking around of my character. Notice based off the design, the snout's a little bit more sharper. So again, based off my character, I'm just gonna select some vertices, try to sharpen certain sections of it, like this. Go to my wireframe. Sometimes it can be a little crazy to view certain things in wireframe, but I use it quite a bit just to grab some vertices. It's a little bit easier when you're working on a model that's very basic at the beginning. You know which vertices are easier to select. So I'm just going ahead and selecting certain vertices to help build the mouth shape a little bit more. And I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it like this for now. I think this is good enough of a mouth. We have if you're following me correctly, we have like the inside of the mouth when we go ahead and open that later on. And we now have like the correct shape, roughly close to the design here at the moment. And again, we go ahead and get some of these spikes in the character head later on when we add that geometry. And next time we'll go ahead and focus on building some basic limbs of this character. For now, we'll see you next time.